And good morning to everybody. Welcome to the Orange Blossom Social. I am your humble correspondent, Bobby Randall. Good morning. Oh, look at all the faces out here. Good morning, everybody. We got a bunch of people in here now. Starting to look like a rock show. Now, all you fine, smiling faces, beautiful faces out there, how many of you folks brought donuts? Not one.
Everybody leave.
Oh, yeah, I never liked any of you folks anyway. Welcome to the show, everybody. And we are all here. The Apostle Paul is here. Captain Kurt. Karen's up in the crow's nest, and good to see her back out of the slammer. I don't know what happened, but was it Sunday again? Arrested again? I'll be damned. Anyway, good to see her here. And, of course, our co-host and conspirator in life itself, Fast Eddie, everybody. I can't hear you on the mic. Well, they followed my instructions perfectly.
You muted me.
I've
been muted.
As you should
first
be.
thing in the morning.
As you should be. Well, Eddie, what were your thoughts? It was for me. It was an awesome weekend and a weird, crazy weekend for me.
Yeah, well, we might as well just lead into the album here. Of course, I'm gonna because of your comment on that. My all-time favorite concert of my show here at Opry was the first time Sawyer Brown came here. And what's really cool about this album is if you look real close on there, that's my first picture that I had taken with Bobby Randall. I knew him when he was the steel player for the Morgan Band. Yeah, I did. That's what that picture right there is. The first night he came here and played the steel. I have a little picture of me and him, and I don't look any better than what I did back then. But that was, I think, around 18. I think you signed the album saying 2018. So that was the first time that they came, and I got to be honest with you, man. Speaking of Saturday night, I was really choked up there, man, because it really, really was a monumental night. I know the most of the history of what you guys been through, and it was really, really cool. And I think everybody in the audience felt that love and how special that night was. One more quick story about Saturday night. This duct tape, I'm backstage in between shows. Mark, everybody knows the lead singer dances all over the place, and he normally has a big area that he can dance for. Well, it got left on the tour bus. So we're backstage, and Mark corners me, and he says, "Ed, you got any duct tape?" And I go, yeah. So I go grab duct tape. He custom made on the bottom of his sneakers this duct tape. It was so perfect. I would have never.
So he could slide on the stage.
It is dancing on the second show was so much better. But yeah, no, it was very, very cool, Bobby. I was glad to be able to be here and witness that, man. Seriously.
It was there's probably one person in the whole world, and probably that one person sitting in the audience that knows more about that whole history than my buddy Larry Skim down there. Larry Skim's been, so you all know who he is, was carrying my amplifiers and my gear when I was in high school, coming to see me play. In the early days of Sawyer Brown, he loaded amplifiers in and out of freezing rain and all these rat hole bars we played in. My Sawyer Brown thing, so everybody knows I left the band, and it was not pretty. It was, at the end, it was really ugly, and legal matters ugly and all of that. And so I went many years without really recognizing the band or doing anything. I went on, I did TV, and I've been a lucky guy. And I don't regret that decision, because for me, it was the best decision, and still is the best decision I made. But that was my baby in the beginning, and Mark and I could just sit here all day long and tell you nightmare stories of, just scrambling, trying to get to a show on a bus that's broke down. And at the end of the week, we pay everybody in the band, and Mark and I got about $150 between the two of us. And so it was tough. I had a pink guitar made when we got really rolling, and this guy named Joe Glazer, who's a guitar guy in Nashville, builds custom guitars, mostly for the big stars, and he doesn't build them anymore. And so they're really kind of collector's items. Well, when I quit the band, I said, you know what, hell with that. I'm never playing that guitar again. I'm never playing with that band again, and off I go. And so when I knew this was going to happen and come together, I dug that old guitar out. It's all beat to hell, and it's all rusted. there's rust in all the little screws and all the little spots in there. Excuse me. And the reason it is because we played in the summer. I think I quit the band in the summer. I'd sweat so hard that that guitar was all. It's nasty guitar anyway. Never mind that. So I fired up that old guitar, put the strings on it, and I didn't know if this was going to happen or not. You know, I had an inclination that it was probably going to happen because we have since mended ways. You know, it took a long time, but without getting choked up here this morning, you folks and all you folks watching out there may find this. I don't know what you'll find at hell. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I truly, in my life, do not believe that all of the Sawyer Brown mending, and listen, folks, this is a major deal. This is worse than a damn divorce or any of that stuff. You know, it was ugly, bad. I don't believe any of that would have ever got changed around if it wasn't for the Orange Blossom Opry. And that's true because we didn't run in the same circles. You know, there was one time I was interviewed on a national television show, and the guy said, "I got to ask you a question." I said, "Okay." He said, "You and Mark Miller." He said, "You're walking down the hall. You're coming at each other. You're going to pass." He said, "Are you going to speak?" My answer was, "How wide's the hall?" So that's where we were at one time. And we both had a lot of anger for each other, and it was, you know, heartfelt. So it's I mean, we really just, anyway, but if not for the Orange Blossom Opry, because the Orange Blossom Opry brought Sawyer Brown in here. I'd only been here maybe a year or two, and they were coming in here. And that morning, you know, Roger, my boss, and Heather, they have no idea. I don't think they had any idea. It was really hard for me. You know, I thought about even not coming that day. I thought about calling in sick. And my mom was in town because my mom wanted to go see Sawyer Brown. And those guys, over all these years that we were apart, were nothing less than awesome to my parents. My dad was on his deathbed. He was just about dying in bed and just sat up one day and said, "I want to go see Sawyer Brown." And I would make the call, and they would treat my parents like gold. And rightfully so. So my mom was in town and wanted to see him, so I said, okay. So I came here. So that was the beginning, because I remember getting in the parking lot, and I've not seen these guys at that point in probably 20 years. And it's pretty ugly. So I saw Mark, and we just looked at each other, and you know, we kind of hugged and talked. Well, anyway, we sat backstage that day, and we talked. And all the guys, Jimmy was still in the band then, original guy. So all the original members were there, and myself, and we talked, and my mom, and we just talked about old times, you know, the old days and all that. So that was and if not for the Orange Blossom Opry, that would have never happened, never. And so to me, I will forever, ever be grateful to Roger and Heather for more things than that, but they have no idea. What a big deal that was to me, and how I almost didn't show up that day, and you know, I was like half crazy. So that began the beginning. And then after that, I can't remember, something else happened. I saw them somewhere, and then Mark called me to come to his mom's funeral, because I was really close to her. And then one thing led to another, and then there was a big thing up in Nashville when they did the documentary. He asked me to be in it. I'm in the documentary. And that's the first time I kind of went back and played with him, but not as a band, not really. It was just kind of an acoustic thing. And all of us, I mean, I'm a full-grown man, I know, but man, we both sobbed. We were crying on stage. And so when I got up here, this was the first time I'd gone back and played with the band, the real band, and rocked out. And you know, I looked, Miller's sobbing, you know, and I started sobbing up there. And so it was a pretty big deal. Anyway, I'll get off of that, but it's probably one of the best healing things that's ever happened in my life. And I owe all of that to all the folks here at the Orange Blossom Opry. So that's that, Eddie.
Yeah.
What album is that?
Cool.
I'm drinking this thing, and I shouldn't drink this. It makes me cough. What album is that? That's the first album?
Yeah.
First record?
And it was the one that they signed when all the originals were here.
Yeah.
I believe it was 18.
Yeah. The shirt that I have on in that. So this is the first time. I don't know when that album came out. '84, I guess. You notice how we're all color coordinated?
Yeah.
That was the first time they did all that. I didn't even know they could do that. They changed our clothes colors and all that stuff. And that red shirt that I have on that looks ridiculous, my mother still has that shirt. So anyway, and on top of not that it wasn't all about me, but Sawyer Brown, the band, they were awesome. They were just not only great guys and just a lot of fun. A couple of those guys I hired. So I'm like going out, they're still there.
Yeah.
So great time. But they themselves put on an incredible show. They were awesome if you missed that show. Okay, let's move on to what we have coming up here at the Orange Blossom Opry this Saturday. We have the Lovin' Spoonful, singular, not spoonfuls. Here's a little story. So on Monday, every Monday, I spend most of my Mondays and Tuesdays advancing dates, which means I got to call these guys and find out what they need, what time they're going to be here. And Sawyer Brown was a bit of a nightmare because their bus broke down, so everything changed. You know, they were in vans and everything changed. Originally, these guys were going to show up and eat breakfast. They all showed up, everything because their bus broke down. So I called them. I don't know what I'm thinking, y'all, and I've got this little form that I fill out. Then it's all this information, and then I spend all day Monday and most of the days Tuesday, you know, getting everything all ready for the show coming in. Well, I don't know what I was doing, but I wrote down, for some reason, I wrote down grassroots. I don't know why I did that. Lovin' Spoonful, grassroots, what the hell, they're all the same, right? So I finally get a hold of the guy, I call him up, and I think his name's Jeff, but it doesn't matter. Hey, Jeff, Bobby from the Orange Spot, yeah, going on, blah, 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 blah. Somehow I just happened to say, well, grassroots. And he like, what? You know, it's like, we're not the grassroots. And I'm thinking, you're not? What? Wait. And then I looked and it's Lovin' Spoonful. So we started off on the right leg by me pissing him off before we even got started. But I think all is well. It's an unusual request they have, Eddie. They're wanting, because these guys fly dates, so we have to get gear for them. The Orange Blossom Opry has a plethora. How about that for a word for a hillbilly? Plethora of instruments. We got a whole music store over there. We have all kinds of guitars. And about 80% of the stuff that we have is pretty good stuff. So we can pretty much cover anything you need. Guitars, drums, bass, all that. And then, but they're wanting a Gibson bass, which we do not have. I don't even know who plays a Gibson bass, Eddie. Do you know anybody who plays a Gibson bass? I guess the Lovin' Spoonful do. But we got to find a Gibson bass for them by Saturday. I don't know what the tickets are on that. I don't have my, I guess I could pull this up. But there might still be some tickets available. They have 2 shows on Saturday. And so if you're interested in checking it out, I don't believe they're both sold out. I know they're close. But if you are interested to see the Lovin' Spoonful. Eddie, tell me their big song. It was?
What a day for a daydream. They had a bunch of them.
If you could just talk us through that stuff, Eddie, instead of singing. Sometimes it's a little early for singing for some of these people. They may still have breakfast on there that we don't want to see again.
Do you believe in
that was the big one, right?
They had a bunch of them. This will be one of those nights where they're going to go, oh, I didn't know they sang.
Yeah,
they had a bunch.
Yeah, I guarantee you that they won't invite me up to play either. All right, hey, let me tell you about this, folks. We have a little change in plans on Friday night. This Friday night, and I know we're already sold out. So if you don't have tickets, I'm sorry, but for you folks watching on Facebook out there, our special guest this week is going to be Ty Love, and it just kind of changed to that. I was in the studio all day yesterday, and I will be, when I leave here, going back to the studio, and we're actually recording Ty. And the coolest thing is he's a kid. He's 20. And he's never been at 21? 21 yesterday, right, Mike? Or the day before? Yeah, his birthday was just a couple days ago. So he has never been in a recording studio, never. So it was so cool to see him in there and interacting with everything and falling right in. He did really well. There's, because we change things we're going to change this, we're going to do this and that, and most people get lost. What? Huh? Boy, he was right on the money. He did so well. So he's going to be our guest on Friday night. And so if you can't be here live, tune in, because I'm really excited about this kid. I really hope that good things come to him. He's a nice young man, smart young man, and very, very, very talented. So we're excited about that. He'll be here Friday night. Love and Spoonful Saturday. Let's move on. Next Saturday is Eddie's favorite. Your favorite, right? Are they not your favorite?
I don't remember who it is.
Oh, you don't?
Uh-uh.
It's the Marilyn Manson tribute.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, we got to get into Rush to be talking mine.
Rush.
Rush.
You're a big Rush fan, right?
Big time.
Eddie, I never understood one of their songs. Is their lyrics, are they either so far above my knowledge of being able to comprehend?
I'm gonna bring you some lyrics, and you're gonna change like the lyrics. I don't even know how to pronounce that, lyricist, wherever it was that they wrote that. Neil, who wrote those songs, is very, very complex. It was, so there's some lyrics in there. It'll change your mind on that. But it's the precision of that band, the precision, the timing, the musicianship that is unmatched. Really, really. I mean,
on what?
Unmatched musicianship between the timing, the precision. Whether you're into Geddy's screaming voice or not, that doesn't matter. But that precision was unmatched, I think, in rock and roll.
Okay.
And I really do. And there's millions of people who agree with me on that. Now were they a chick band that no, they were definitely didn't have the Journey faithfully.
Well, can we just say? I mean, we're all everybody's friends here, right? They're a bunch of ugly fellows, man. There ain't nothing.
Yeah,
there ain't nothing pretty about those
if you
boys.
close your eyes and listen to that,
post.
There's a couple instrumentals that literally you won't believe what you hear if you close your eyes and on
original lineup
and drum solos. Oh Lord, don't even get me started on drum solos.
So original lineup, Eddie?
Yeah, always. They never. That's one thing that made them so special. Never in the history of the 50-some years they were there. Same three. Well, the very first album was before they brought the drummer in, the new drummer. Well, the forever drummer. There was one initial guy who was on the very first album.
Could it be I'm just asking questions. I mean, could it be that they were not good enough to play with anybody else?
Well, their music was so complex, I don't think anybody else could play their music.
Oh, there we
that's
go.
Where that's
okay. All right. Well, the hell with those guys.
Well, anyway.
Rush. They're not coming.
No, I don't even remember who's coming now.
Seals and Crofts are coming.
Oh, Lord.
Not these Seals and Crofts, because you know what's up with that. One of them's horizontal. So that's not going to be happening.
That'll be great, though.
So I don't really know how all of the things work, but I do know this. The Seals family of, and not not that kind, in Nashville, have for some reason been that whole bloodline of people have been extremely gifted as songwriters, and if y'all know, you guys Dan Seals, right? Y'all country people, so y'all remember Dan Seals. What a lot of people didn't know was before Dan, who I knew really well, and we were on the same record label, who before Dan Seals did the country thing as Dan Seals, he was part of the band. He was England Dan in England Dan and John Ford Coley. And I'd really love to see it. They had some big hits, pop hits, and that was Dan. And he wrote all those. He also wrote one of my all-time favorite songs. I really wish I could sing this song. I'd like to sing it, but I suck when I sing it. But Everything That Glitters Is Not Gold is one of my favorite, all-time favorite songs. I sit around and sing it sometimes at the house, and the dogs in the neighborhood start howling. But it's an awesome, awesome song. Well, anyway, so that was him who's written, and then his cousin or somebody was Jimmy Seals, who was in Seals and Crofts. So both those Seals boys were England Dan, John Ford Coley, and Seals and Crofts. And then there was another brother or person whose name was Troy Seals, who never was an artist, but wrote somewhere like around 40 or 50 #1 songs in country music that he wrote, tons of songs. So I say all that to say, now we move down the food chain a little ways, and here's Brady Seals. And Brady Seals first come to light, if you will, in a band called Little Texas. He sang, I don't know, he wrote a lot of the songs in Little Texas, I know that. And then he sang the song My Love. Well, then he splits out of that, and he starts a little band with our bass player called Hot Apple Pie. Was that what they were called?
Yeah.
Hot Apple Pie. And yeah, and they had a little bit of hit. Now, anyway, so now Brady is doing a Seals and Crofts tribute. So he will be here, and the Crofts is a girl. I don't know much about her. Do you, Eddie?
It's Jimmy's daughter. So she's actually the daughter instead of being a nephew or niece. Yeah.
Yeah, down
Yeah.
the food chain. She's
Yeah.
a daughter of. Okay, but Crofts never sang lead on anything, did he? Jimmy Seals sang everything, right?
No, there was probably some of them that they.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I think so.
He sang on a couple things?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, they
can
will
make
be
me go
there.
back.
And Seals and Crofts tribute show, one tribute show on Saturday. That's next week at 7 o'clock. And ladies and gentlemen, here is everything that will make it worth the price of the ticket, because they will be backed by the world famous Orange Blossom Opry Band.
That's the only reason Karen came back is for Brady Seals. She's a big Brady Seals fan.
Is that why
Yeah,
you're here?
yeah, that's the only reason.
I knew there was an ultimatum.
She didn't come back to help us. She
No,
just-
of course not. She's
Brady
just here
Seals.
for the, yeah. She's just here for,
Glory.
yeah, for the glory. We love Karen, as far as she knows. All right. Let's see. And then at the end of the month, George Trillinger, Mr. Show Business. I never knew George before I came here. Never heard of him. We were kind of in different circles, so that doesn't mean anything. But what a talented man he is. I guess because I've been in this business for a long time. Yeah, I appreciate people who are talented. Wow, that guy's awesome. But I have the tendency, the older I get, to judge people more by who they are as what they are. They're, nice guy, jerk. George Trillinger, what a sweetheart of a man he is. He's a great guy. Show business forever. He might be Mr. Show Business, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
When you think
Yeah,
of
I
show
agree.
business, you think there's George.
If that's not sold out, you need to get a ticket for that one, like
Yeah,
ASAP.
and because Tim's coming, and his buddy Tim, they do the Blues Brothers, and they do the best Blues Brothers. I need a haircut, Eddie, or a hairpiece.
Hairspray.
Hairspray. Yeah,
Makeup.
they do the skit, the Blues Brothers. They're
First
awesome.
makeup person. They don't come this early.
We don't have makeup
No.
here, do we? We don't have a hair person. Well, we do have a hair person, kind of, but we don't have hair, makeup. Anyway, so George Trillinger, he will be here. And then we'll move on. This is surprising, the first week of June. Also, if you guys ever have any questions, just raise your hand. Mike is our roving monitor guy out there. He shows up with the microphone if you have any questions. Is there a person over there or somebody dead?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
The lights are bright. Who put these
Oh, yeah,
lights
well,
on this morning?
I just need a little movement once in a while, make sure nobody's dead. This show, I think, is already sold out, Eddie. Carole King show.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great one.
Yeah.
Great one.
What was her songs? It's too late, baby, now it's
Yeah.
too late. Wasn't that a Carole King song? Yeah, she wrote a lot of
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah, that Tapestry album that she had was just a masterpiece. Yeah.
Yep, and this is what always amazes me. I think, what was that James Taylor song? Did she write?
You got a friend. She wrote that.
She wrote "You Got a Friend" for James Taylor,
Yeah.
and I think she wrote it when she was like 16 years old. You know that?
Yes.
She wrote all those songs like that when she was 16. 'Cause
Will you still love me
yeah.
tomorrow?
What is she
for-
now about Carole King? 100 and something?
I'm sure she's 70s, possibly close to 80.
I think she's more like 100, but that's that's up for.
It seems like everybody who's our 70s and 80s of anybody we recognize, that's for sure.
Well,
I'm
I know.
old.
I know these people were popular before me, so I know how old I am, and I think, holy crap, because I'm 40. And,
82.
Yeah, yeah.
She's 82.
Is she?
82?
Yeah, our producer Apostle says 82 years old. Mike said Carole King's 82.
Our producer's sleeping.
Yeah. You can see when you hear this. That's our producer back there who was so bored he fell asleep on the board. We're trying to keep him entertained back there.
Yeah.
82, Carole King is. Anyway, I don't know
What
anything.
did you call me?
Yeah, what? Oh, what? Huh? Do you need something? Carole King show, I think, is already sold out. So that was a big plus. Then we have the Irish Rovers. I don't know what's going on. with that.
The
What's
mistake
going
on that. The
Why
mistake
does it
on
say
that
Irish Rovers?
is because I believe Van Morrison was from Ireland, so it's kind of like that. Kind of was a mix-up, but that's going to be a show people are going to talk about. That dude not only looks like Van Morrison, But Van Morrison's another one, like the Lovin' Spoonful. You're going to be really surprised how many hits he's had.
Is Van Morrison alive?
I think so.
The real Van Morrison.
Yeah, I think so.
Michael B. do the check.
Something
here.
about that name with the Irish is kind of throwing people that.
Yeah, because
but
the Irish Rovers were a.
Yeah,
were
I agree. I still have their 45.
They had that stupid song.
Wasn't
right?
that a party? Yeah, I have that 45.
Didn't they have? Who had the song? Y'all are gonna love. Who had "Dead Skunk in the Middle of the Road"? Y'all know that song? Or you're all looking at me
Was
like
that-
I'm stupid.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Yeah, the "Dead Skunk in the Middle of the Road."
Cletus, somebody, I believe. Cletus.
I thought
Was
it was
it
the
Cletus
Irish
Judd?
Rovers.
No,
The
no,
Irish
no.
Rovers had a big song.
Yeah, it was gonna have. Wait a minute.
Bigger than that.
Wasn't that a party? That was their song.
78 and still alive.
What is it? Oh, Van Morrison's 78 and still alive.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but I mean, he has a lot of hits. Moon Dance, Into the Mystic, Brown Eyed Girl.
Well, Brown Eyed Girl.
He was in
the-
Gloria. He was in a group before he did solo. I think they were called Them, and they had a huge hit in the '60s. Gloria, GL. Everybody knows
Oh,
that song. Yeah,
yeah.
it's so Van Morrison.
What key is Gloria?
Have
Eddie?
I told you lately that
Not
I
what he's
love you?
singing.
That's another monster hit of his. People didn't know. Rod
That-
Stewart.
Oh, he wrote that?
He wrote it, and that's had the first hit with it, but it wasn't as big as hit as Rod Stewart when he
Rod
covered it.
made it big. Did you ever find out what the Irish Rovers hit was, y'all? Anybody find out?
Wasn't that a party?
No, it's going to drive me
That's
crazy.
it, Bobby.
Is
Is
it?
this working?
I should trust you.
Wasn't that a party? I played it a
Wasn't that a
million
par-
times, a disc jockey.
What is it, Apostle? Apostle, please tell me that he's not right.
Wasn't that a party?
Ah,
Telling
damn,
you,
he's
I'm
right.
talking
Ah,
about
he's
it.
right.
You're-
I hate Eddie when you're
I,
right.
I played a lot of redneck. One of those, you know, when you would play those roadhouse places with a chicken wire, I'd play that song. You
I
get them
played a
drunk
lot of-
though first.
I played a lot of,
I can sing that if you want me to.
You ever hear that Martin Mull song? I can't say that word. I can get away with a few cuss words, but I can't say that word. I played some blank holes, baby, but this one takes the cake. I sat by Martin Mull at a award show. Sat right behind me. He's a funny guy. So he starts singing this song to us in back of us because we're at the CMA Awards or one of those big award shows. He's got this dumb song anyway. Okay, well, the Irish Rovers won't be here, but it's a tribute to Van Morrison, and I think it's selling real good. So I
Yeah,
think
good
whatever
because it's going to be a great one for sure.
whatever issues may have had where you're.
And did we mention the Meatloaf show? That's coming
No,
up.
that's not. You've got ahead of me. We got a week before
Oh,
that.
okay, all right.
We have Simon and Carbuncle. Have you heard
He
of
was
them?
wasn't that Bullwinkle?
No, the Carbuncle. It's not Carbuncle.
Simon and Bullwinkle.
Yes, no,
That
it's
was a cartoon,
Simon.
wasn't it?
Simon and Garfunkel tribute. All these guys are doing tribute shows. Well, let me
Yeah.
tell you this though. I will say this. I've kind of, I'm not. I'm gonna get crucified for this. I'm not really a fan by tribute bands. I'm not, because I grew up a different way. I grew up writing my own songs, making our own way, doing our own thing. I never wanted to be anybody but me, and that's it. But I got to tell you this. Two things, and I've learned a lot of this and other things, so my mind has changed since I've been at the Orange Blossom Opry. Some of these cats, and these guys that we're getting are not just people that work here locally at Weirsdale at the Dollar General. These guys, they're getting these guys out of Las Vegas who are truly professional guys, and they're very, very good. And I guess the coolest thing for me and for y'all should be, we're never going to see Simon and Garfunkel because that's never going to happen. And in many cases, like the Beatles or even the Eagles and tribute shows, you can't afford tickets because they're outrageous or get tickets. So these tribute bands, I think, really serve a purpose. And the ones that we've been bringing here to the Opry have been really good. I've not seen one come out here and I go, what are they doing? So it's pretty good. I don't know these guys, but I presume they should be awesome because they're.
Yeah, it's really about keeping the music alive, and they had so
Yes.
many hits. These Simon and Garfunkel,
Yeah.
Lord, they'd have hits.
And what about Art Garfunkel? What's
Yeah.
his name? Art Garfunkel?
Art Garfunkel. Yeah.
Boy, you know that was a hell of a name when you were in the
Yeah.
fifth grade. Where I went to school, if your name was Art Garfunkel, you'd probably get your ass kicked about every
But
other day.
on the other hand, if your name was Ty Love, that's a whole different baby there.
Wow, Ty Love.
I'm telling you.
Well, Ty Love is a handsome young man. He was a football player. And I think Art Garfunkel was probably a librarian.
Yeah, could be. But their harmony was unmatched. I mean, together, even solo. Art did some solo stuff too.
Come on.
My Little Town, yeah, my
No, Art-
little town, yeah,
Art-
he did. Yeah,
Art rode the coattails of Simon. Did he
Well,
not?
no, but the harmonies are what made them. I don't know if I don't even know Paul wrote those. I don't know if Paul would have been as big a star as he is if they hadn't done the duet thing.
Well,
because
yeah.
Paul Garfunkel don't get the credit because he didn't write most of it, but he had
Just
some
one,
solo
two.
hits.
Yeah.
Or- yes, he did. I have some on
Well,
record.
Paul Simon wrote all those songs, and I've said this before. Again, he wrote the Bridge Over Troubled Water and the Boxer when he
Oh,
was
yeah,
like
no, they're
20
great,
years
yeah.
old. But you know something? I got to put a plug in for my boy again, Ty Love. Yesterday, we recorded 3 Ty Love songs, and they're all his songs. Wrote them all by himself. So, you know, he's a kid. He's 21 now. And I look at that was one of my jobs at one time. I worked for Sony, and that was kind of my job was that on Friday, these songwriters would bring their songs in and play them for me, and I'd help them rearrange them and fix them and try to get them right. And when we got them right, we would record them into a demo, and then the song pluggers would pitch them to people. That's kind of how that works. And, you know, every day I'd hear the same guy come in with the same song. You know, this guy, you wrote the same song this guy did, or similar, you know. My truck, this, my wife left me, the dog's dead, whatever. He wrote 2 songs that we recorded yesterday that the idea were awesome. And the idea was, I thought, very clever. He wrote this song about, he goes to this concert, he said it was a true story. And he sees this girl, and he's got to go talk to this girl. He just absolutely has to talk to her. So he goes up and talks to her, and she says hi, and she's nice, she's beautiful, and she's all this, but she has a wedding ring. And she said, you know, I kind of married. And so the chorus is, oh, you know, too bad, good for you, and, you know, real arrogant, you know, go to hell kind of thing, you know. And then in the next part of the conversation, she said, well, you know, he's going, well, where is Mr. Macho, Mr. Lucky and everything? Well, he's overseas fighting for our country. And then it's amazing how it turns around, how he turned that around to be the same course work for both scenarios, and how, you know, he even likes the guy and how proud he was of the guy. That was awesome. I mean, that was an idea that a 21-year-old kid wrote. The other one he wrote was this song, what was it called? Was it called Kids Raising Kids, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Kids Raising Kids. And about 2 couple that get married at like 19 or something, 18 or something like that, and have kids, and so they're kids raising kids. And then how that must have been his parents in that song or something. Was it his parents?
It was his parents, and it was the first time he wrote it, had never played it for them. They heard it.
Oh, yesterday? Oh, really?
They were sitting there bawling like babies.
Oh, yeah,
First
that's
time
right.
they'd ever heard it.
Yeah, his parents were both there, and they didn't hear the song, and they're like sobbing their guts out. So back to just songwriters. So that's
In
me.
a great way. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's the cool thing to me about songs. And so here's Paul Simon writing "Bridge Over Troubled Waters" at 20 years old. You know, I couldn't hardly write my name. I don't think at 20. Anyway, so Simon and Garfunkel, yeah, those guys. They'll be
So-
here
Yeah.
on the 15th.
Jenny Bogus said that we were all wrong.
Jenny Bogus said we're all wrong.
Yeah, the Irish Rovers, the best song was the Unicorn song.
There, Jenny. God bless you, Jenny. I told you that these
Wait
two,
a minute.
both you losers, you Eddie and Apostle, you're both losers.
No,
And
Jenny
because I
don't
tried
know
to
us.
tell you they had this big song that was goofy, and I couldn't think of it. Did you know it? Is that what you're see, guys?
No,
you
Jenny's
know what?
wrong.
And I always liked Jenny better than Neil.
We all do.
We all do. Yeah, I told you the Irish Rovers had some stupid song that I couldn't remember what it is.
In fairness, I thought the other one was stupid as well. So
Well, they both like me stupid.
But it was one of those freak hits though, and I know. I'm
yeah,
wrong.
but the Unicorn song, come on, guys. Everybody knows the Unicorn song, but don't you forget
See, what Jenny doesn't realize is that I am right. The Irish Rovers did do "Wasn't That a Party," and that was a huge hit. Now, back in the early days, the
You know,
Unicorn,
wait, just
they
a
did
second,
the
though.
Unicorn, so I am right about that. So
I
Jenny,
mean, can I just say something here for a second?
Yeah.
You know, Jenny Bogus is from South Dakota.
yeah, that explains it.
She will kick your ass. You know that? You can't get on here and tell people that
She's wrong, though. I mean,
She's
she
right, that-
called in saying that we're wrong. We're not
How
wrong.
many people know
Wasn't
that
that a
first
party
song? What was the first song? Wasn't that a party?
Well, the Unicorn.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's take your song. Can anybody sing a little bit of it? Ready, go, anybody?
It's a song that only gets played on St. Patty's Day.
Well, okay, now, let's,
But
what
wasn't
about
that
the
a party?
unicorn?
Was a
We'll take
monster.
10 jumping geeses and long-necked geese, some humpty-back camels and some chimpanzees, cats and rats and elephants, and sure as you know, don't you forget. See, Eddie, the
That's
whole.
good.
See,
That's-
Eddie.
That's because we had more
No,
St. Patty's Days.
that's because.
All these people have gotten drunk on St. Patty's Days. That's the only
Right.
reason they know that song. That's the only time that gets played. Wasn't that a party? Was a monster hit year round.
All
Had
right.
nothing to do with St. Patty's Day.
All right. Well,
I'm wrong, Jim. I'm right, Jim.
Oh, okay. Well, what about this? What Jenny will be here Thursday. What about we all get here just a little bit
Bring
early?
the boxing gloves.
Yeah, we'll just rope off the stage here, and
Yeah.
you and Jenny. I
Bring
put
the
my
box-
money
I'll
on
take
her.
her out.
No, I'm putting my money. I have to put my money on her. I know you're a martial arts guy. We talked about that a bit, but she's married to. She's from South Dakota. Those women up there are just mean. You have to be mean to live in South Dakota. It's 30 below zero up there in summer, so you got to be mean to be there. All right. Well, anyway, I'm so glad that we got that. Thank you, Jenny, because that would have drove me crazy all day long. All right. Now we're moving on into June. And we're at Meatloaf on the 22nd, a Meatloaf tribute. Now, I only know one song by Meatloaf, and which is an awesome song. You know,
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
yeah.
But
I want you.
that's the
need
chick
you.
song. That's the chick song. But literally,
Anything
that
for-
first album, Bat Out of Hell, is an absolute masterpiece from start to finish.
What's the name of it?
Bat Out of Hell?
Eddie.
That title cut. I mean,
Yeah,
that's rock
that's
and roll,
not-
baby. It's not pretty. It's
Well,
rock and roll.
that's not something you're going to play at your Sunday school class. Tell you that.
Well, that album from beginning to end. They don't make many albums like that.
Yeah.
For me to say masterpiece,
Well, you
that's
said
only a
it-
handful of records in the history of rock and roll right there.
Well, now you're contradicting all of your stuff you said about Rush. Now, have you got?
Oh, there's a
Okay,
masterpiece.
so who's your?
Oh no, they got one.
Give me a favorite. Here we go.
Of which one?
Well, here's the scenario.
Rush?
Here's the scenario, and this isn't really hard to not imagine. You guys can imagine this. Okay, Eddie, you're in prison. That's all. We all got that. And they say we're going to pipe in one album to you. It's either going to be, and you got to listen to for the rest of your time there. Meatloaf or
Karen,
Rush?
do you know what it is? Oh no, it won't be Meatloaf. It's definitely Rush.
Oh, okay.
Definitely Rush. 2112.
You know what mine is? Merle Haggard. There you go.
Yeah, that's good too.
All right.
That's good.
what
But
I-
you didn't pick an album out. That's not fair. An artist, you can't see just.
Yeah, but
you
I.
got to pick one single album of Hag. Now we'll throw you for a loop.
But you notice how the audience didn't even flinch when I said, imagine Eddie in prison. They all
We're in
went,
a country bar.
Yeah,
We're in
that
a
was
country
easy
bar.
enough. That wasn't a stretch
We're
at
a
all,
country
Eddie.
gig. Yeah,
You got it right. They're with me.
I like Hag too.
Okay, Meatloaf is that on the 22nd, and what a hoot that should be. And then, hey, I want to tell you guys about this before I do the last show. We're going to be off in July. We're going to take a motorcycle trip, and we're going to have a vacation. There's going to be some awesome. I guess it's kind of hush hush. It was hush hush. Karen, is it hush hush about what's going to go on in here during the break? Because it was last year.
Renovation.
Yeah, we're going to do
renovation.
some things. We won't tell you what it is. We won't let the cat out of the bag. But our first show back, y'all, is on the it'll be the 25th, but our first Saturday night will be the 27th. And a local guy who works around here, who I've got to know quite well, he also works at the jewelry store, which come in handy. He's going to do a show here on the 27th. Jay Allen is his name. And it's going to be, if you like really old country stuff like Paycheck and Merle Haggard and that sort of stuff, you need to come check it out because he's got an awesome voice, man. And the band will back him, and it'll be a good way to bring us back into the next season. And that's on the 27th. Now, what happened to him, Mike? He got stung by a bee?
Yeah, he had got attacked by a bunch of wasps out in his backyard yesterday. I guess it was yesterday. And went to the hospital and was still
Holy
there this
cow.
morning. Had to have treatments to keep his throat open and so forth. But he says he's doing all right. He'll be back
Yeah.
soon.
Got
but
stung by bees?
these wasps is what he said in the post.
He'll probably be singing Cyndi Lauper on that
Yeah.
now.
So here's my
Tiny
little
Tim.
lust. I buy this house, and I didn't need to go into this anyway. But I have this house, and all you need to know is I had this log house. It's on the side of a mountain, And my driveway was really, really steep, like really steep, almost too steep, probably not up to code. So I'm out there working and trying to move these rocks around and stuff, and I flip over a rock, and all those yellow jacket things just everywhere. And I had a dog, they stung my dog, and I turned to run to get away from them. Well, it's so steep downhill after about 3 steps, bam, and I didn't even have a lawn in yet. So I get stung about, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 times. And then finally they go away. I get up. So I walk back up the driveway, and there's a hose there, and I'm mad. I'm just mad, just stung. And somehow, I'll just leave it to your imagination to close out the final chapter, the great part of the show. Somehow one of those bees had gone up. I had shorts on, had gone up. Let's just say they had gone as far north as they could go. And buddy, if you ever seen a man dance around and hitting himself in the crotch, it's pretty entertaining. Nobody saw it, but I'm like, ha, ha. And so bee stings can not be funny. But I wasn't allergic to them. I was fine. The 29th, to close out the big show. Hey, did Hawkes ever show up? What happened to him?
No.
Thought he was going to come by here. I've been practicing.
He's getting the donuts.
Yeah, if he's getting donuts.
He ate
they'll-
them all.
They'll
He
never
probably
make it
went
here, right?
back home.
Jenny sent a message. She said that she didn't grow up there. She grew up in New Mexico.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she grew up in New Mexico, so she was like, ask Dave about that.
She doesn't look Mexican.
It was the new part, New Mexico.
Oh, it's the new
Mexico, South Dakota, it's all the same.
It's not the old one. It's New Mexico.
The new one, yeah, not the old one.
I have this. So Dave Hawkes is his name, and it's spelled J-U something A-U-Z or something. Do you know how to spell it, Mike?
JAQ.
J-A-Q. Well, anyway, in Spanish, J sounds like H, right? Because that's the thing. Because his name is pronounced Hawkes, but it starts with a J. So this lady's driving down the road, and she gets pulled over by the cops, and the cops, just make sure he's not sneaking up on me. And the cop says, "Ma'am, you seem to be lost. What are you doing?" And she said, "Well, I'm trying to find this town called San Jose." And he goes, "Oh, ma'am," he said, that's pronounced Jose. He said, in Spanish, J sounds like H, so it's not Josie, it's Jose, San Jose. And he said, "How long will you be staying in San Jose?" And she said, "Oh, probably June or July." Okay, it's a terrible joke. On the 29th of June, did you get that? You didn't get it.
No.
Eddie, did you miss that one? Question, yes.
That sounds like a joke from...
Speaking of Dave,
Is he here?
no.
Oh.
Amazing. I just would like to know how in the world you found him.
You know, thank you for asking. This band, again, I give credit to Roger and Heather Byers. I'm not the owner. I'm not the boss. I'm just a music guy. And but for them to give me the free reins to get what I thought we needed, we had a pretty good band, and when we started out, we had a pretty good band. We've gone through a couple of changes here and there, and every time we've had a change in the band, I've said to Roger and Heather, I can't go backwards. These people, because the people that were here before were good. I mean, they may have had issues or this or that. Would that be an understatement? But anyway.
Concerns.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, we can't go backwards. So I can't, we'll just use the guitar player position because that changed. The guy that was here was an awesome guitar player. And so I can't go backwards. And Roger, there's nobody that plays guitar like that around here. So I am going to have to go on the national scene and try to find somebody. When we had the piano player change, that's what I did. So I know a bunch of these guys, so I would call T.G. Shepard. I would call different guys that I knew that had piano players that sang. And I said, I need a piano player that sings. That's how we got Chris. Chris came through I think I talked to 3 or 4 people, but eventually I ended up with talking to Heath Wright, who was a lead singer in this band called Ricochet, who told me to talk to Ty Herndon. And so Chris played for Ty Herndon, who said he's working with Janie Fricke, so we got a hold of him. That's how we got Chris. And so we throw, this is out there in that national net thrown out there. So when it was time for a guitar player, I called Nashville and I looked and tried to find somebody. Well, you got to find a guy that's in the spot in his career where he's wanting to move here. The Orange Blossom Opry job, although it's pretty cool to be up here on the stage and play all that, it's not an easy job. We have to learn, not knocking Sawyer Brown or any of those bands, but those bands play the same songs every night. So I went up there and played 4 songs with a band that I hadn't played with them in 40 years or 30 years, and they're still playing those same songs. And I played it, and it all fell in there. But our band doesn't have that luxury. We have Friday Night Live where we have to continually learn new songs. Then on Thursday night, we have to learn all those songs for those people. And now I just got done telling you we're going to back Seals and Crofts, which that music's way over here compared to we're going to have to back Wade Hayes, whose music's over there. So this band has to be that flexible, and you have to be able to read. You cannot do this job if you can't read music and read numbers. You just can't. There's no way, guys have tried it and it just doesn't work. So all of that you have to find, and that caliber of musician is not in Weirsdale, Florida. And I had lots of guys that called me, no offense, I'm not picking on the Villages or anything, but a lot of folks live there. A lot of folks retire there. A lot of guys come there, hey man, I played the band my whole life and I did this. And I said, okay, and it's like, you played in the band your whole life doesn't necessarily mean you were good. It just meant you played in the band your whole life. So again, thanks to Roger and Heather for letting me be able to go out there and bring that guy, because we had to move up. The last guitar player was pretty good. I did not want to move backwards. I did not want people to come in here and go, wow, that guy sucks, your new guy, and continually ask about the old guy. Dave was here a week, and it was like, gone, because he was a step up, a step forward from our other guitar player. So I feel we have to continually do that to keep you people happy. You don't, and again, I'm not disrespecting or talking anything bad about any of the local musicians. I went out to hear some guys play last night, and I love that. But what we're trying to do here at the Orange Blossom Opry is be a couple of steps above. And when these guys come in, T.G. Shepherd, who I've known forever, said, there's no band any better. He has different bands. He said, these guys are as good as anybody in Nashville. And most of these guys have played with people in Nashville before anyway. So thanks to the boss and the bosses for letting us, because he could have put the clamp down and said, and unfortunately it becomes about money. This guy's got to move here, this guy's got to live here, and then you eat up this guy's life because, you only see us working Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But, I mean, for me, this job's, probably 6 days a week. And for most of those guys, it's about 4 or 5 days a week. And then when you see us real busy. So, and Dave has been, he's been awesome. Yesterday was the first time I got to use Dave in the studio, which is a whole nother step of a whole different thing. It's a wholly different level entire. And man, he was in there, just laid it in there, played the right thing, not nothing, just play this, okay, play that. He hit it out of the park. So he's awesome. The crowd loves him. And man, he's a really, really nice guy, y'all. And the best thing of all, of course, the number one question on the interview is, do you have a Harley? So that's how you get in this band. You got to ride Harleys. Eddie.
Rod, all that,
I knew that was coming.
Bobby, all that's nice. But, it's great that Roger and Heather give you that leeway, but something that I know you're not going to say. Not everybody sitting around here has got a bunch of contacts in their phone that they can make those calls and have the contacts to reach out and do a nationwide search just, in the matter of a couple of hours off your phones. So
Well, I've done
there's
this.
a lot of credit to you
I've
and your
done this.
networking.
Thank you. That's all I've ever done, though, y'all. I've been in Nashville 43 years, so I don't know a lot of the new guys. But all the guys that I know that need to be here, I know, and it was great. So I think hopefully we're not going to make any more changes in the band, because we've got a pretty solid band right now. I look for us to cruise on. Everybody's happy to be here. Nobody, like I said, the job is it's music, and there's a difference, I think, between going out and playing music on the weekends and having a day job. That's what you do, and I guess technically you can call yourself a musician. I guess that is, whatever. I'll give you that. But it's a whole different thing in this band, because all of a sudden, here's 15 songs you got to learn for this weekend. And not only do you have to learn them, you got to learn them exactly like the record. You got to play. When those guys, when T.G. Shepherd comes here, he's had, 21 number one songs? So you folks are going to know every one of his songs. Well, if the band doesn't play those songs exactly like the record, it ain't going to sound like T.G. Shepherd. You're going to go, what the hell? I went to see Steely Dan, and I went with Rusty Golden. And this has been a long time ago. There might have been a little substance abuse, just saying. Not that I would know about that,
Yeah.
but so
Spiked popcorn.
They kick off. Yeah, they kick off reeling in the years. Everybody knows that. They didn't play it like that. I'm in the 6th row. I stand up and start yelling, "That's not the right intro. Play the right intro to the song." I was escorted out. Anyway. I was, so people expect that's what I'm trying to tell you. The expectation of the artists when they come in here, they don't want you hacking away and playing away at some songs. There's, if you're not going to play the song in the right key and sing it in the record key so people can recognize it, don't do it. That's where our thing is. Other people don't have that. Music was made to be fun, so there's a level of playing fun on the weekend and having a band locally and travel around and play whatever you want and sing and not care. But then there's a level that these guys have that is just about the same level as the professional
Dangerous
people.
Dave.
There's Dangerous Dave. The same level as that. Hey,
He's
get
on-
up here, man.
He's on New Mexico time.
Yeah, I'm glad you got to look at
Just
that.
in time to say goodbye.
Yeah, we're just in time to sign off, and Dave got dressed up for it. Yo.
We don't have to repeat all the nice things that were said about him, do we?
Yeah.
Hey,
What's
hey,
up,
Bobby.
Dave? Yes.
Doing lawn work.
Hey,
Yeah, long-
just a quick question. How many songs does the band actually know? Like a number?
So right now, what happens when we change guys, like we had a major change. Our drummer changed, our guitar player changed, our bass player changed, and our last guitar player never sang much. He sang a couple songs here and there, but didn't carry much of the weight. But the bass player did. He carried a lot of the songs. And so when Dave came, Dave sings and was able to bring a lot of songs to the party. Our drummer now sings and sings very well too. And so we can kind of divide it up. But I've been putting everything together. There's a difference between going out like we did last weekend and we're playing this song the first time. Okay, you want to play this, and we play it. Well, that's not really a song we know. That's a song we stumbled through, and we'll get it up and going. Songs we really, really know that we could just lay out there like that. I don't know. Are we up to 100 yet?
I think about 100.
Still
yeah.
closer there.
Yeah, probably about 100
We're up to about 100 songs
of really, quality.
that we have polished down,
Yeah.
not stuff we go up there and go.
Now,
we're all
songs we
looking-
can just fake. We could probably do
Yeah.
about 1,000.
Yeah. The thing about this band that we have now is, I don't know if any of y'all are classic country people, but although I've heard these guys playing crazy stuff at soundcheck, crazy stuff, every one of these guys can just about rip off any Merle Haggard, Buck Owens, early 70s country
Yeah.
stuff. Say, hey, let's play Swinging Doors. All right, do it. So
Well, Karen caught a little bit of us, me and Keith and Chris and
Yeah.
Randy doing the Meters Sissy Strut the other
Yep.
day and during sound check. We're just goofing off, and all of a sudden, it turned into a song.
Yeah. It was really, really good, and now it's suggested that we add "Last Dance for Mary Jane" in our show. Y'all know what that song's about? So
Yeah,
Last
I
Dance.
do.
Okay, well, Eddie, don't give it up yet. But everybody would think that because don't they? I don't know. Don't they
It's
call
not written in
marijuana?
Colorado.
Yeah, it's not about marijuana. Mary Jane, which people have referred to. I heard that in the Army that they called it. That's what they used to call it when I was in the Army. But it's I don't know that you want to do that song if you really know what it's about. Because it's dancing around the last dance with Mary Jane. Mary Jane's his damn dead wife. Right?
Yeah, but you know, it's
Yeah,
it's
but
a
what?
catchy song.
It's a catchy song, but it's still about dancing with
The
dead.
potheads will all
Watch
be
the
on.
video, the music video they made of it.
Yeah, he's dancing with a dead woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something I don't feel good about that at all.
These ladies down here are shaking their head that it's a Tom Petty song.
It's
So-
Tom Petty.
Yeah, last dance with Mary Jane.
He's from
One
Gainesville,
more
so that's the
time to
problem.
kill the pain.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other petty songs you could do.
Yeah, well, I'm just telling you. That's how I feel.
I really like American Girl, and Dirk Bentley just re-released it.
Yeah. Well, we can maybe
That's a good tune.
do some Tom Petty. We don't know. Anyway, thanks for the question. And they were asking about Dangerous Dave. Dangerous Dave
Oh.
has fit into the band
My ears are burning.
perfectly. Yeah.
He was
And-
supposed to bring the donuts.
Yeah. Where the hell's the donuts, Dave? We're going to the studio when we leave here. And maybe there's no Dunkin' Donuts on the way. So anyway, and then let's talk about the last show. Have you done a John Denver show with us yet?
Not a John Denver show. I've done some songs with him.
Yep.
He's come up and sing some songs with us, but haven't done the full show yet.
So he, out of all of our tribute shows that I can think of that I've seen so far, you listen to them and they go, yeah, you know, they kind of, some guys take that a step further. They want to look like the person, which is fine. That's part of the Vegas thing. You know, you go see some of those impersonators. They want to dress up and look like them. I've seen Eddie dress up several times back there at practicing Madonna.
Spandex,
Yeah. But I mean, that's what you tell me you're doing when I catch you in those women's clothes. But anyway, so out of all the people that come here that do the tribute acts, I would say that Dr. Carl is the most spot on guy, because if I were to if you were to close your eyes, I got one other guy. He sounds exactly like John Denver, and he's not faking it, because if he sings some other song, he still sounds like John Denver singing whatever song he's going to sing. And if that show's not sold out, it will be. So that'll be a good show, because he does all the John Denver things, and he just, it's an easy show for us. You just kind of ride along, because he carries the show. He's awesome. He's got some stories about you ever notice though, he doesn't really indulge, is that the right word, a lot into a lot of the meanings or the the things that inspire you to write songs. He doesn't really talk about a lot of the inspiration, where John Denver's inspiration came from, which was, of course, smoking pot.
No.
He doesn't
No,
talk
it
about
was
that a
the
lot.
beauty of nature. I'm a John Denver
Hey, Bobby,
fanatic.
it's limited seating.
Limited seating for Denver.
So
Okay,
get them now.
so
Rocky
get him now.
Mountain High?
Yeah. Well,
Well, yeah, there was some of that, but that's not what the high means about Rocky Mountain High. It talks about the high
no,
of
but
the beauty of Colorado.
well, exactly. And folks, let's just tell it like it is. I mean, marijuana's just a plant, right? It's just a plant. Now, if you happen to set it on fire,
There's a party.
I've smoked pot if I've smoked pot 5 times, that was about it for me. I don't like, I don't have anything against it. I just don't like that feeling of, oh my God, the ants are crawling on the roof or whatever.
I've never smoked any of it, but I've burned a lot of it.
And Michael's a police officer, so he probably, we're
Sure you
just
didn't
destroying
smoke.
evidence.
Yeah, I'll get rid of that for you.
Let the sheriff's department get that. Hey, we got to go, everybody. Dave Hawkes, say hello to Dave.
Hello.
Once again, thank you so much, everybody. God bless you. God bless the United States. Come see us at the Orange Blossom Opry sometime. You'll be glad you did. So long, everybody.